Welcome to The Secret Life of Therapists. I'm your host, Dr. Habiba Zaman. I have Kaylin Maloney again with me, and we are here to deliver an unscripted, unedited, pretty unhinged,
Yeah. Honest.
honest version of life. You know,
Yeah.
we want you to get a glimpse into how even though we present ourselves in a certain way when we're in session as we're supposed to,
Mhm.
it's not how it is outside of the
Mm-mm.
therapy room
Yeah.
or off the therapy
We're
couch.
still practicing those things that we preach and then
Yes.
some. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So today's topic is going to be enough is enough.
Yeah.
that's
That's it.
that's where we are. Enough
Yeah.
is enough.
That's it. In the
And
house, like
how?
an hour, how do you know? How do you work through it? But of course, you guys know we have a lot of sayings behind, like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
So, one of our main ones is like, you're on my last nerve. That's our main one. We also have like, have no more nerves to give, or you're just underneath my nerves at this point. So it's just very much like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. So it's a whole lot of those of like, okay, well, if you've had enough, then what are you doing?
Yeah. Or I don't have the bandwidth. I remember hearing that for
Mm.
the first time with Shalon.
Uh,
She when was that? 2015,
yeah,
a long time ago.
yeah.
And she was like, I just don't have the bandwidth. And I was just like, broadband? What did you say? I remember she gave me so much shit for it for a year. Okay?
That's
For a
hilarious.
year, she gave me so much shit for saying that. I was like, broadband? What?
Wow.
What did you say? She was
It's
like,
okay.
are you serious? I
Mm.
was like, say it again. What did you say?
Yeah.
She was just like, and then she just gave me shit
Mm.
again. Whatever.
It's a great word though, because it does.
The
It's more
bandwidth,
fitting.
right?
It's more fitting. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she explained it to me. She's like, when you have your limit and you're like, my saying is, I'm at the end of my rapidly fraying rope. I say it to the kids just like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
just so you know, like,
We're
not only am I
there.
at the end of it, it has been fraying,
Yeah.
rapidly fraying for a minute.
Mm.
So that's my saying. But hers was, and that was the first time I hear it often now.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't have the bandwidth for this shit.
Yeah. Which I think is, it's very fitting though. It's not as kind of definitive like that, definite I should say, but the bandwidth is kind of showing there's a spectrum here. There's this amount of time that I have given, and I'm just like, I'm out of it at this point. So how do we know when we're, I guess, out of that?
Especially our friends, which is, I was gonna say our friends who are codependent, right? But that's all of my friends.
Yeah.
And most of my clients. We're all codependent as
Yeah.
fuck, right? Which is a big reason why you end up in therapy. It's like I give, and I just don't get it back.
Yeah.
Right? But I continue giving at my expense,
Mhm.
which is kind of like the healthy giving versus the codependent, where I'm giving so much, I'm loving you so hard that maybe you'll love me back the same way at some point.
Yeah.
Right? That's the hope that they hold out for.
Mhm.
And at what point, like you were saying, is it enough is enough? I'm done.
Yeah. I think the timing of or the length of time, I should say, for the relationship definitely plays a big part as to how much we give
The
tolerance
investment,
wise.
what is
Yeah.
it called? The investment bias,
Oh, yeah.
where you've invested so much that letting it go means you're a failure, means this, means that, means a whole bunch of things. So you would rather continue investing, hoping that it'll change so that it can all be worthwhile.
And sometimes it's not even so much a potential loss of the whole relationship. Sometimes it's just knowing it's going to change. And then there's that concern of, with it changing, how are they going to be? Can we have this relationship still with this particular change? Like, even though I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I tell you, and then you make the change or a change, can we still sustain the relationship or build a better one? I think that also is a kind of a question that we tend to have.
In couples therapy, we do that, right? Where it's recognizing that there's no going back to the before.
Mm-hmm.
You guys will actively work towards building something new.
Yeah.
So grieve it, let it go, flush it down the drain because it's gone already and it's been gone.
Yeah.
Whatever, image or version or story.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the romanticized version that we've been telling ourselves of what the way we were.
Yes. How things were before. How we started. Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier, I think, if there's a, like you said, a line in the sand, a definitive marker in time where this happened and therefore now we're here.
Yeah.
But what about when there isn't that, when there's nothing that's so egregiously harmful, right? Like they've done something so horrible that you can then justify, I'm angry now and I'm saying no thank you.
Yeah. I do always wonder though, I think we talked about this before in the past, of like why, when I definitely read it before, of why we have to wait for that, this big dun dun dun, to be like, oh my God, is it really here? And
so that you're not the evil person.
Yeah.
I'm minimizing it, but that's what it is. If I end my relationship, which I did, right, when I asked for the divorce, I was the bad guy. Because everyone's question at that point is, I was about to start laughing, which is horrible. Oh my God. See, deranged. Guys, I'm deranged today. Today, I needed 5 of these, but whatever. Whatever, I'll laugh. It is. They're like, did he hit you? No. And the reason I'm laughing is like, I wish he would have. Because then, right, I could have justified unleashing my wrath.
It would have been more accepted.
And then it would have been accepted. Then it's okay. It makes sense why you would break up a marriage. Someone I've been with for 14 years, why, I would give up on that. Then it would make sense. That's it. But that was like the only marker.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because we apply it, I think, to all relationships, family, friends as well. Well, it's not that bad. Like, they get on my nerves, they do these things, or even that part of I'm giving, and I feel exhausted from it. So is it enough for me to speak up and say, like, I'm no longer doing this favor for you, or I'm no longer readily available to you? So is that still okay for me to do that? Well, yeah, but you still have to be honest with yourself about where is your limit.
Well, yeah, my thing is, not that bad doesn't make it good.
No, but it does also make it the worst. But at the same time, that's why I say you still have to
need to wait for it to be the worst?
That's why I say you have to figure out, like, where is your space? Because by the time we're recognizing which is anything else, even with our health, by the time we realize that we're exhausted, we're like falling asleep at the wheel. So when we are there, it's a piece of that becomes knowing when these things are becoming more of an issue for you. It's not always easy to see a pattern, and it's definitely not always easy to call it for what it is. And then we're like, okay, well, this isn't going to change, so blah, blah, blah. Or some people will say, well, why didn't you say something at first? And so there's so many different little...
Which is, again, just blaming the person who's trying to set that boundary and leave.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard
Something is beeping.
It's hard to kind of think about it in that way, though, because we would have to, well, I mean, it's back to the acceptance, right? So we would have to be honest with ourselves about who the person is and what they're presenting. And it's like, dang, it's really been here a long time.
I think it's more than that. I think we put a lot of emphasis on who they are and why they're doing what they're doing.
Like, instead of the relationship title?
Even with the relationship title. But I don't think we put enough emphasis on ourselves. Like, what does this mean for me? How does this make me feel? What does this say about me?
Yeah.
I think our relationship with our identity plays a big role on what we tolerate.
Yeah.
And for how long.
Yeah. How we see ourselves.
But also what makes you you, right? If you're not able to identify certain things, then I keep having these boundaries violated, values violated. A, you don't have the terminology to say shit like that. But also B, if you're not aware of what those different categories are, what those different aspects of your life is that's most important to you, if you don't know how to label it, define it, and even articulate how that looks in real life, how are you going to say, this is why this is not okay. This is my line in the sand because this is one of my very big values. And this is why, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
If you don't have all of that, those are the ones where you see, 30 years of relationships that's kind of like meh, right? Where no one's happy.
Yeah.
But they're just there.
Coasting.
you're coasting.
Yeah.
And not just not romantic relationships.
Yeah.
With family members, with
Yes.
friendships, with whatever, where you know it's unbalanced, where you know something's off, but you don't really have the pathways in your brain to identify what it is.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I do with my clients early on when we're developing the foundation of who they are is I have these stack of values. And then they have to identify, you know, what does this mean? How do you define it? Like, that's what I mean, but what does this mean? And then what does this look like? And a lot of times, because let's say 6 months down the road, something happens, right? And they're trying to talk about it. And I say, all right, give me 5 different emotions for how that makes you feel. They'll be like, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, I'm angry, but not, I feel betrayed, not, I feel incredulous. Like, the fuck? How dare you? That's my favorite word. Because apparently I live in that state.
Yeah.
Like, I go from okay to the fuck? Excuse me? Who do you think you are to do that to me?
Just
right? Like, just like, ouch. And it's all internal. I'm like, I wonder what it would look like if I had a bubble acting out what I think on the inside.
Wow.
Because if the faces are not enough, right?
Yeah.
My face.
No, you would definitely need a cartoon to illustrate clearly where you are.
But even long-term clients where, you know, we go through this, they have a hard time identifying more than 3 or 4 emotions, even though once we pull out the emotion sheet and I start going through each one, there's about 20 per event.
Yeah.
20 different reasons with 20 different emotions with 20 different reasons behind each one. The reason I feel incredulous is very different from the reason why I'm disappointed versus why I feel despondent versus why I feel taken advantage of, right? Versus why I feel betrayed.
Yeah.
They're not synonyms.
No.
They're cousins.
Very much. So we're all together, but different levels, different facets of it. And it's definitely one of those areas where I am finding myself more in that of questioning of why does this matter? Or what are the emotions that I'm actually having right now, aside from like sadness? My immediate emotion for like internally obviously is sadness.
That's your representative.
Yeah.
Mine's anger.
No. Mine is immediately like a sadness. And from a, like I said, like kind of just an internal. On the outside, I just become very stoic. It's just very straight, flat line, like whatever. And then my anger is kind of like eventually, but my sadness is kind of like first, because it is in that space of like, how could you? And why would you? And where was I when you were doing all of this? And like, has this always been here? So now, like literally this past 2 weeks or so, maybe even 3 weeks, I've been having a lot of moments where I'm wondering, what other feelings am I really having right now? Because it's a way bigger deal than just like sadness. And I know it is, but I'm trying to feel. So I whipped out my little feelings wheel.
Don't make me bring out my list
have
of
my
like
feelings
500
wheel,
emotions.
And I did my journaling because I like to, well, part of the reason why I'm in the field, I like to understand. I understand the brain and these connections. And so as I'm kind of processing through myself, I'm like, this makes sense as to why it's such a big deal. And it makes sense as to how I've been able to just kind of let it be on for so long.
Because you don't identify all the other layers to it. And if you don't, then you can move past it. And that's another side effect of therapy is one of the not so great parts of therapy. Eventually it all works out for the best, but in the moment, I call it the storming phase, right? Where you have all of these clarity in your perception of what's wrong and which values are not aligned, but you don't necessarily have the tools to cope with it. And you also don't have the tools to be able to work through it yet.
Yeah. Which I think
that's the marinating part where you just sit there and you marinate in your shit.
Yeah, that's why I don't have to sit here because you need to understand it.
Right.
But I think that's also why we always look for such a big kind of voice of higher power or whatever. Because then you can justify it. The psychic, just someone or something outside of us to tell us, hey, it's okay, you're right in what you feel, versus being honest with ourselves and trusting ourselves in what we feel.
But who trusts themselves though? Anyone that you've met that has come to therapy or I'm saying even forget your clients, like obviously everyone that shows up is there to figure something else about themselves. But how many people do you actually know, even in your real life, that fully trust themselves?
Yeah, it's not really.
I don't. I struggle with that shit all the time.
Yes.
I'm still working on trusting different facets of my life. I 100% trust that I will keep the boat from sinking.
Yes.
Because that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I've been conditioned to do. And everybody around me, no one doubts that I will do that. That's the one thing they know they can trust, is that I'll keep everything afloat. But the rest of it, the rest of existence, no, I can't even decide if I want to go to Portugal or Mexico.
Oh, well,
like it's just that simple.
Don't ask me. I'm super indecisive. Super indecisive.
Well, but I'm very decisive.
Not.
But right now, for Portugal, it was for business, right? I have stuff to take care of. I was going to do a podcast in Portugal. I was going to do another one in France on the way to Portugal. So again, it's justifying why I get to go take a vacation for crying out loud. And at this point, and I've said this to my kids, I'm like, mommy's exhausted. Yeah, I'm so tired. The brain is glitching more regularly than it should be.
Yeah.
And I want to just go to a resort and not leave the resort and just be fed.
Yeah.
Just have the food come to me and just marinate in front of the ocean.
I would think too, in addition to like that trusting of self difficulty, is another piece of it that I find myself all the time of I'm like at the edge of the cliff and then I make a choice. So by the time I'm like, I've let these things kind of go, whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's when my decisiveness comes in. It becomes immediately, but this is the answer. I don't care. I'm out. Like, so.
But that's the thing, though. That's keeping the boat afloat.
But then, but still, though, for me, the question then becomes, why do I have to get to the edge? What makes it difficult for me to kind of
the rest of it,
see it or accept it, rather?
Right. Because you don't trust the rest of it. But I think it's just that simple. It took me a long time to admit that to myself. The reason I won't say, just go to Mexico and just be, seaweed, just marinate in the ocean, float around, flop around like a beach whale, whatever. Just be alone, do your thing and heal your body.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust that. Because I don't trust my worthiness of being able to just take a fucking vacation just for me. Not because I have my kids with me, not because I'm going to get some work done, not because there's a conference that there's always someone else or something else. Yeah. And I wouldn't think twice about it. Right? Here you go. Here's my credit card. Yes, I will treat you guys. You need the vacation. You need the escape. But I still don't trust in my own worthiness that I can just do that for me. Yeah. The only other times I've done that, which is different from now, is when I'm like, I need to leave before I burn down the house. Like you were saying, at the edge of the cliff. Right? Yeah. So I'm not there right now. Yeah. Where if I don't leave, I will burn down my existence. Right? Because I'm so unhappy in it. So I'm not there right now. And therefore, I don't know how to just make a choice.
Yeah. I think there's part of it when you first thought of like, how do we deal with it? A part of that, I guess, kind of path as my imagery is like being able to see it and call it for what it is along the way. So when you see the behaviors and you recognize like, okay, they're just going to be incredibly selfish. So how do I remove myself or set up enough boundaries or limitations or whatever where I'm not continuously bypassing? Because you know when you're tired, when you don't want to answer that phone call, when you don't want to go to the party, when you don't want to help your friend move, those things, and you'll say, because I always
So you've already started removing yourself from them.
Yes.
That attachment, that accessibility.
But then it's feeling guilty, right? So maybe they don't mean this way. Maybe this is going to be my last time helping them. This is going to be this and this. So we have all these kind of other excuses essentially to kind of keep it going along this path. And so we have to reach the end at some point because you cannot keep going in this way forever.
Well, even the Mexico thing, I was like, little man, you want to come with mommy? He's like, no. Like, and again, he's just like,
Yeah.
do I need to answer this, or can you should know this for
Yeah.
yourself already? Because I feel guilty.
Yeah.
Right? But is it, and it's annoying. I was going to say it's funny, but it's not funny. It's annoying because in a heartbeat, I will tell a client, a friend, definitely my children.
Bye.
Right? I'd be like, whose guilt are you carrying?
Yeah.
Does that even belong to you? Like, what is that?
Yes.
Go right? I would
yourself.
mock it, and I'd be like, give me a break.
Yeah.
And
list all these reasons why.
Yes.
It's not valid.
And yet,
yeah, here I am.
I still have to justify, like, well, if I bring you guys, then it's okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I do know. It's my self-worth.
I don't know what it is.
I'm not worthy of it. I'm not worthy of it. I'm not worthy of just because again, I don't struggle with self-worth in a lot of different areas. I've worked through those things. This is just one that I can't seem to let go of.
I don't know what it is for me yet. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. For me, because as I'm recognizing,
I do think it has to do with worth as well, because you wouldn't allow anybody else to be treated that way.
Right.
Because you think they're worthy of better.
Yes.
And yet here you are taking the same shit.
Yeah, I think it's more maybe a part of that kind of accessibility that we talked about before. Like, if I do change, or if I do something different, how are they going to view me, or how is that going to affect like this dynamic that we have? So,
but I think that still ties back to worth. Again, I've had to do years of work to accept that, because my therapist beat that into me for years, because I was just like, I don't think that's a worth thing. And he's like, if you would not allow somebody else to go through it, and you let yourself do it, you obviously value them more than you value you. Yeah. That is a self-worth issue. And I was like, we'll come back to that. Yeah. I'm such a pain in the ass patient. But it's the same thing with that accessibility, right? If you're worried that you're going to upset them, or it's going to harm the dynamic, what would you say to someone, me? What would you say to me if I was telling you the same thing? If I do this, that, and the other, right, which is taking care of me, then they might get upset, so they might change the relationship. What would you say?
They don't respect you. I know. And again, it's one of those things. I'm seeing it, right, objectively.
Yes, but living it. So that's the marinating part that I tell my clients, and they when they figure it out, they hate it. I'm like, just let it marinate. They're like, fuck the marinade. Yeah. I'm like, but that's what it is. We can understand something in theory, but then accepting it as reality is different. Yeah. Allowing it to change our behavior is worse. Yeah. And then maintaining that is a whole ass another beast. So those, 5 stages of change. That's just where you are. Understanding something in theory, right? Is stage 2. Yeah. Before then, we just off in the Lululand. Yeah,
having a great time over there. So I think when that's also how I can know when I've had enough. It's like I feel like I don't have anything else here, which can, like, being connected to the self-worth is like, well, what am I here for? So when I start to have those questions like that, that's like very much connected to that self-worth. It's like, well, I think I'm done here. I think I can pack it up, because I don't really want to do it anymore, or I don't have any more to do over here, or whatever it is. It's just I'm okay. Like, I'm got it. Got the message. And I just kind of move it on.
I was reading comments on this video, and I loved this video so much. I actually sent it to every man on my Facebook. Every man, like every single one of them, except for my dad. That would be that would be weird, because he was talking about his sexual experience with his wife, and I'll still send it to you. He's so intelligent, so articulate. Like, I love listening to his messages, the way he breaks things down. And he was talking about how women take longer to get aroused than a man does, like physiologically. They might be mentally or emotionally there, but physiological reaction takes longer than a man's would. And so all the things that he does, and then he loves that. He loves doing all those things because it's a shared experience. Yes. Oof. And I was just like, thank you. Thank you, healthy human man, right? Like, yes, thank you for this positive message of, if this is not a shared experience, you don't like women. right? Which is a very bold thing to say, but it's so true.
Yes.
If you're annoyed with the fact that these things need to happen, or that you do them, right, for it to be a shared experience instead of a one-sided experience, or because you're like, well, we don't have time for this, then you don't actually like women. Or if you think certain things are nasty about a woman, whether it's their period cycle or going down on them or whatever, then you don't actually like women.
Yeah.
Because that encompasses who they are.
Object for you.
Right. Of your pleasure. And there was so much venom in these comments.
I can imagine.
And I was just like, what is so triggering about identifying that this is a shared experience? A man orgasms, ejaculates every single time, and therefore a woman should too. So if it takes whatever, that still needs to happen because it's a shared experience.
Right.
Why is that such a mind-blowing concept?
Difficult to accept.
And yet I teach every single one of my clients that. Men, women, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not something that is talked about. It's not something that's normalized. It's a lot of sociological and society-based bullshit. And I love that he is doing it. Right? So literally I send it to every single man. I'm just like, look how wonderful this human is.
It can
poke,
be
poke, nudge, nudge. Make sure you're doing the same
to
you
be
for
aware.
Yes. But also that the concept of a shared experience. Again, last time we talked about me being in love with my life, right? So it's one of those things like that for this. Everything needs to be a shared experience. If it's not, the sanctity of it isn't there.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If I'm going to go out to dinner with you, you need to love it as much as I'm loving it. If you're going to do this thing here with me, you need to love it as much as I love it. Right? Like it needs to be a shared, and you can tell, you can feel the energy. You can, you feed off of each other, right? That's where the brain lights up and everything else. I was going to say, I really want an fMRI machine, but we're not even going to go there, because that is the machine, guys, that actually identifies which part of your brain's lighting up and why. So anyways, I can't. There's always a geek moment in every one of these episodes. Whatever. So, look at my earrings instead.
They are lovely, though.
Thank you. Associate that with the geek in front of you.
Yeah.
But does that make sense? Like, if we were to, as a species, explore life in a way we're focused on it being a shared experience, we wouldn't have the problems that we're talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would require them to be considerate, which would mean they're not selfish, which would completely defeat the purpose of this whole thing.
On top of that, then the rest of us on the receiving end, because we feed it just as much.
Yes.
Right? That I would then need to, the first time they show me they're selfish and not considerate, and that it's not about a shared experience, I need to be like, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No, I don't.
So I'm just as much as at fault.
Yeah.
As they are for the dynamic I'm in.
Why does it? Where in this path for me, that as I'm doing my kind of own kind of exploration, where in my path do I
say no, thank you?
Yeah, and just really notice it.
What does enough look like for you? Historically.
Because I was definitely going to go from what I would want it to be.
This is why self-awareness is important. Because that's a different answer.
It is.
And it's not matching reality.
It's not. So, which is why at first I was automatically going to go to what you would like, because you don't have it. Or when you have had it, it's been like once. I think when I have had it, it just feels natural. Like I don't feel like a burden. I don't feel like I'm questioning, would they be okay if I invited them to someplace random, or to do something random, or just to kick it at their house or whatever. So there's a reciprocity in place where I don't have to question the genuineness of it.
And then what about when you do?
When I do what? Question
it. At that point, then how do you know that enough is enough? I'm done.
I don't know. I get to the cliff.
You wait till it's like you're right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah.
because by that time it's like, well, obviously I have to make a decision because I'm tired of this, and but I don't want to. Obviously, it's not healthy, guys. So I don't want to get to the. I don't want to have to go to the every time just to be able to look down and be like, oh my god. I want to be able to kind of see those things, and I know a big part of that is acceptance of who the person is and being
Yeah.
able to see like, oh, this is not a behavior I like. There is this particularly with like friends and family, for me, it's very hard to kind of see the thing and like, oh, you really are like this because I don't choose my family. And like
Mm.
even with my friends, that's a choice that I'm making. So it's like, how can I make such a terrible choice? And then with my
Going back to trusting
family,
yourself.
yes, which adds to that piece of why it's difficult too, because like I'm thinking I'm making this good choice and things are good, and then it's really not.
Mm.
And then with family, because there is no choice and who is a part of that. And it's like, well, there's a whole lot of benefit of doubt that comes into play for me that's in this little bucket that I have for family. And so it's, I see the thing, but okay.
Is that cultural? I
Gotta
know it
keep
is
it
for
going.
me. In my culture,
Um,
it's, and every culture pretty much, that saying, blood is thicker than water,
it is cultural.
which is not the full saying, by the way.
I think no, it's not. The full thing is way better. I think in both sides, as a black person and then as a Caribbean person, it's in both
Yeah.
because so my family still tells me to this day, ask family, da 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 da. Or you're supposed to do this because we're family, blah 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 blah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a whole lot of like requirement that you just have to do. And so from the Caribbean side, you don't ask questions. The person just does, especially if they're an elder. They just do, and you have to just be okay with that and just keep it moving. And you have to continue to have this interaction with them all the time.
Even if it's
So
unhealthy.
yeah, because there's otherwise it's rude as hell. But
Right.
they're not rude. You're rude, and then you made them be rude. So there's this constant, very sick, toxic
It's the
thing
same with South
that's
Asian
happening.
communities, where respect for elders
Mm-hmm.
is so huge, but it doesn't take into, there's no caveats in it
No.
for, unless this person's abusive,
Mm-hmm.
unless this person's blah blah blah. There is no unless. It's just,
Yeah.
elders are to be respected, and not even respected. It's kind of like up on a pedestal, like
Yes.
almost worshipped.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Mm-hmm. So I think that definitely adds to it for me when it comes to trusting myself and decisions and why I take so long on this path because I'm in a headspace of like, well, we will get through this, or especially if we talk about it or something, or we have an argument or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, I said my piece. You should be able to hear that and then kind of work from there.
And I think that is
But it don't work.
a reflection of you, though, right? If someone's come to me and communicated, this upsets me, this makes me feel X, Y, and Z,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. So no one has to say that shit to me twice.
Yeah.
It will not be repeated.
Yeah.
Because I don't do that to people I care for.
Right.
I am intentional and almost obsessive with making sure I don't ever impose myself onto this person like that again.
Yeah.
To make them feel this way.
But maybe the time is the path for me. And that's why it takes me a while because I'm almost like waiting in this sense for them to have that consideration for me because I do for them, but also just like.
But how many times do they have to show you that they're not?
That's the path.
No,
like,
I'm asking.
don't
you.
know.
Okay. So I think that's an important distinction. I think I told you.
It literally just feels like one day I just wake up
and then you're done.
Something happens and it's like,
switch.
I'm finished.
Switch went off.
Yep.
Okay.
There's no thought in it. There's no processing. There are process after. But I wonder if it's because I'm processing throughout every single time. And then I just reach a point where I'm like, this is enough for me.
And if the roles were reversed and I was saying the same to you, how long do you think I need to let the same thing play over and over again?
I don't know.
What would you say?
That's such a big question. I'm very particular about time because
I think it's trust because you don't trust yourself at the first time you see it that this is what it is.
yeah.
And then again, tying that trust to self-worth, that I deserve better,
Yeah.
and cutting it
Well,
off.
of course, because I think a part of that is like maybe they had a bad day, right? So we immediately just write it off.
Also, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. If someone had a bad day, do they still get to do that to me?
No, but I'm saying that's why we write it off so
But do you know
quickly,
what
so
I'm saying?
easily. Yeah.
Um, that again, my therapist beat that into me
Yeah.
because I would be like, well, well, meh,
Mhm.
well, right? All
Mhm.
these like thousand question game that I would play with myself to
Mhm.
justify the behavior so that I could keep holding on.
So here's my overthinking behind.
Mm-hmm.
So my overthinking comes in where it's like, what if it's not like me? And then so that's why I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
processing
However, I'm gonna
along
stop you
the
right there
way.
because I told you this in my office months ago,
Yeah.
maybe a year ago, where I'm tired of hearing not everybody's like me, and you got so angry.
Yeah.
Why? Why did you get so angry?
Because I give that benefit now, and it's just like
No. When I
well,
told you that, I'm just told to just not everybody's like you. You have the training, you have the understanding, you have the patience, you have all of that as a
yeah, but I
therapist.
think that's why it's because I give so much of the benefit of the doubt, which would mean that my efforts have been pointless.
But you didn't when you were in my office to the person that said it to me.
No.
You call that shit out as manipulation, and they're just trying to control me so that they can keep having
Yes.
access and the benefits they get from me.
Objective. That's it. It's just objective. So it's of course it's easier to see it when it's not you, right? And I think it's hard to
But I think
accept when it is you.
because that's what, going back to what I was telling you in the very beginning of this, where the list of values and
Yeah.
when they're violated and how they're violated and what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If you practice that, then it's in your face.
Yeah.
When you deny that, then you can keep having hope.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people choose ignorance.
Yeah. Yeah. From
Me,
naivety for me.
mine's just ignorance
Yeah.
because my body is telling me I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? My mind is like screaming.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, not today. Where's that smut book?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit outside in the sun and read this book.
Yeah.
Where's my clients
It'll
for
get
today?
better. Yeah.
Let's do another eval. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
re-traumatize ourselves with this writing this eval right now because I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yes.
Which is the active ignorance.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard for me to admit these things
Mm-hmm.
because that's dysfunctional as fuck
Mm-hmm.
and makes me a hypocrite
Yeah.
because I teach the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, why I do take so much alone time when I am going through things. I don't talk. I literally just sit down by myself.
Because
Because of that, I have to be honest with myself that there are things that I'm not practicing that I know I need to be doing. And I know that it's in the, oof, betterment of myself, but because it's who it is, it's just like,
I know.
please don't be like this. So when I'm really feeling it, I'm like, nope, I need to just walk away because I don't want to have any type of interception. I don't want intrusion. I don't want anybody else's thoughts but my own. So I go over here. I'm not in delusion land when I'm over here though. I'm just over here.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to be avoidance. I think I'm avoiding people, yes, but not myself. And I think that's why I take such a step back so that I can really sit with myself and just be like, okay, this is just what it is. This is just
But is
where
that
we
effective?
are. Most times, yeah.
Okay.
Because and in a way, sometimes I'm actively trying to like not get to the cliff by working with him. And then there are times when I'm not trying, but I knew that this thing was coming. Like I knew this day was coming. But I'm holding out hope. So I'm like rejecting all these other ideals. I'm like delusional in all these other ways, being blatantly like ignoring these other things that's coming up because I know what's happening. I see what's happening. My body feels what's happening. but I don't want to accept it because then I have to do something else.
Right.
And I'm
And then what?
very black
Yeah.
and white.
Right.
So there is no keeping the relationship.
No.
I don't have the ability
I
to
don't know
do
if
that.
that makes it black or white though, because of the type of things that you're discussing, right?
Yeah.
Where you get to this point, there's so many of your values that are completely misaligned.
Yeah.
So it's not about, how should I keep the relationship, because you can't.
Yeah.
This is not a relationship that would be functional based on who you are as a person.
Right. So taking it back to even culturally, right? So then we're thinking family, right? So then it's, how do I do this? How do I do that? So then as I'm sitting away, if I have these type of moments and it's dealing with family, I'm like, I can't just like do this, and I don't want to, but I have to do this relationship differently. So like, how am I going to do that? What's I going to like where I can still be honest with myself without having to keep getting like punched in the face.
Right.
So there is that's why I say I have a bigger bucket of tolerance and patience when it comes to certain people, more so people who are like closest to me, because that's just the connection, whatever. Then again, sometimes it's just time, especially long term like friendships or whatever. But there comes definitely a point where I just reach an area that I don't have a choice but to call a thing a thing. Yeah. And it's usually not anything that's like dun, dun, dun. It's usually never like they slapped me or they broke in my car. It's usually nothing really like in your face crazy, but it's like just enough for me to recognize that I'm not cared about, or I'm being taken advantage of, or they are just more in their world than they are in my world. It's like a mutual type of deal. So, because we're going to have this Venn diagram, which is fine, but we still have to have some middle ground. And then once I realize it, like, or accept rather, there is no middle, then it's like, well, I have to let this bubble be over here.
For me, that Venn diagram had to be reevaluated after, again, years of being like, yeah, but there's that sliver, because I would hold on to that sliver and be like, but now I'm just like, it needs to be half.
Yeah. And you know what's crazier? When I fucking do it, I feel so relieved. I feel like again, there's no stress. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm like, oh my God, it's sunny outside, girl. Let's go to the park. It's just so.
I know I'm beating this into you the way the therapist beat it into me. Yes. But it really did help me putting myself in my children's shoes. And you're about to be mommy 2 times over.
Yeah.
Where if this was one of my sons going through this, would I be okay with how long he's allowing this shit to happen?
Yeah.
90% of the time the answer is no. And I'm like, then what are you doing? Because then, like I said, I have to bring it back to me, because I was always putting it on everybody else. They don't mean it. They don't know better. They were having a hard day. Like all of these things to absolve them of accountability, which, hello, look at my history. No one in my life knows how to take accountability of stuff, right? So they all had to go bye-bye until I could replace them with people who are more respectful and there in that way, matching values, right? But I had to get rid of them first.
Yeah.
Someone told me today that if you're still going through it with them, you're not making space for new things to come in, no matter how tired you are of this shit, because you're still allowing it. You're still there. Do you know that person? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. But they sound like a great person for you, though.
They are a great person, though. By the way, she did. She was the one that was telling me all of this right before we started.
Yeah.
The recording.
A little bit. Did you see Sinners?
Yes.
It reminds me of that. I just thought about it as you were talking, where they're on the outside and it's up to us to decide, are we going to let them in or not? Like, we see them and that's okay. They can be there. But you have to invite them in. And every time that I'm like, oh, it's okay, or they're just having a bad day, or just like you said, absolving that accountability, I'm just like, come on in. So of course, if I'm driving down the road and I see a bunch of zombie looking motherfuckers, I'm not trying to jump in that house. I'm gonna keep on riding the mess. So until I clean up my house, there's a gospel song by Dottie Peoples called "Get Your House in Order." until I clean up my house and I no longer have these
Yeah.
types of people at my door, let alone inside of my house, when people drive past, they're going to continue to drive past. I'm going to continue missing these opportunities and these
Right.
relationships with people. And so it's very tough. Or even like now in Atlanta, we'll drive to a place and it's like, oh, that looks a little sketchy. I don't know if we're going to go
Not getting out of
there.
the car.
Keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me, it is very much of, like it's like the worth piece of it, and how are we, because worth in a sense, again, so metaphorically, presentation, what am I bringing forward? Because right now it's giving Waffle House, and I'm trying to give you like France type of waffle, you know what I'm saying, pancakes
Michelin
and like
star.
strawberry, 100%, right? But I'm giving Waffle House at 2 a.m. in Centennial Park. So I'm trying to like elevate myself because I think I'm there, but that's not what I'm giving out.
And annoying fact,
Yeah.
the emotion follows the action.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's like if I want
it's
my
the head
babies,
and the neck.
Right, if I want my babies to live a life that's well rounded, right, like just live spherically, in all aspects of their life, in a healthy and beautiful and attuned and aligned way with who they are, is their model doing it? Right. And if she's not, then how can I want that for them?
And how can they learn?
So yes, in theory, just focusing on this is acting like I don't value myself, this is acting like I don't have self-worth, should be enough. I wish it was.
Yeah, me too.
So bad. It's not. For me all the time. But shifting that focus onto my babies, right, or my friends, that will. Because I'm like, I can't expect to be the model that I need to be for the people that I'm around if I'm not living my life in the way I would want them to. So that's when you know. I think it's one. Is everybody in my life
getting that one chance
there? No. But I do think it's one. Based on your very, very important values. When they violate that, like for example, if someone stole from me, does anybody need convincing of why I don't need to let that person have access to my life anymore? And yet I have. When they've blatantly stolen from me, I've still continued to let them just be there because I'm like, but and well and da-da-da. And each one will be different. Based on whatever that value is. I have this hard nose. When all of your very important should be hard nose.
So I think that's my path, journey, discovery piece of just redefining what am I hard nose.
And then when they show you by violating that one,
let it be that.
Then let that be that. They're already showing you who they are. And that doesn't work for you. And that's really it. The alternative is you wearing yourself down to where there's nothing left. Me wearing myself down to where I was in and out of the hospital. Blood poisoning, for crying out loud. Like, really?
It's like 1%. Like, how are you
of
even
all
get that?
Things. Like, okay, great. Because that was my cliff, apparently. Like, just die.
I'm just gonna
just die.
Start over real quick, reincarnate to something else.
Right, respawn. If only. But just why? Why does it have to be that bad?
The thing also just being okay with it. So when you find out those values and you identify those things that are those important pieces, and it's okay for you to have them, that they look different than maybe the average person. So for some people, it's if you do something in particular, whatever, you're like, nope. And for others, you have more time and whatever to work through. But whatever is within your own kind of space, it's okay for that to be where it is.
But you can't make that decision until you know what they are.
So,
that's something that, can help every day easily. Sit back and be like, what is this value? Why is this important?
Or they do the thing and you're crushed and you're like, damn, why am I so hurt? What values have they violated?
Minimum of 5. minimum of 5.
Yeah.
It's like 20 per situation. But let's just come up with 5. I think that'll be good. Yeah. That's enough to be like, and this is why.
Yeah. And that's how we deal. Cool. What a day.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, guys. Hope you learned a lot. We had a lot. It's a bit deeper than I expected it to be, but it's always the best. I think that's why I really appreciate this kind of space and setting that we can do as well. So trust the self, figure yourself, but trust the self. It's good.
The trusting the self will come after. It might just be the very last thing that fits into place after you're able to identify all the other things. Yeah. Like I said, I'm still working on trusting myself in different avenues of my life. Some of them, like, duh, of course I do. Watch me. For full confidence, full blast.
For sure.
But other places, like self-care.
Yeah. I don't know
treating myself.
Still trying to decide.
Still working on whether or not I can manage that.
But, yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.